Hey, what's up guys, WiseGuyVito here, and in today's video we're going to talk about the M90A and how I do not believe that I got the buff that the devs intended it to get, which is this, and in their own words, they want the shotgun to be more punchier because it's an 8-gauge shotgun. Interestingly enough, they mentioned the gauge of the shotgun, which means they are taking note a little bit on the people who are arguing that this is an 8-gauge shotgun, and they are making changes because of that fact. In my opinion, this was not a large enough buff, in my opinion, for an 8-gauge shotgun. I will be arguing that it should still get medium pen as a baseline. I understand people wanting, like the pie in the sky, heavy pen. Trust me, I would like that too, and it'd be a support weapon. But I don't think Arrowhead's going to do that. Arrowhead, if you're listening to this video, we would love it if you made the M90A a support weapon and made it heavy pen, regardless if it's an 8-gauge or not, because the M90A has a reputation of being a very strong apex predator in the Halo games, and we would definitely like that. But if you guys don't want to do that, because that'd be too much of a big change, then giving it medium pen would be the way to go, in my opinion, and I will be explaining it with damage numbers, because again, the devs listen to damage numbers.
Also, we should do a shout out here to basically the community.
Yeah.
They did a lot of math.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, so this stuff changed, and then they did a lot of math, tested it in a lot of cases, and then we read all of that, and it was just like, in a lot of these places, they have good points, and they're right about a lot of things.
Exactly.
They like to see players look into the numbers and make arguments based on numbers, right? So, are they spreadsheet buffing a little bit? Yeah, a little bit. They kind of said the like the quiet part out loud, and the thing that they said they don't do, but they do. Okay, they do absolutely look at the spreadsheets and look at the damage numbers to basically say, hey, listen, like these guns need to be buffed. That's why the most recent change was to SMGs, because some SMGs did not get a good enough buff, so that's why they buffed those weapons. Same thing with the M90A here. There's literally no reason to use the M90A, in my opinion, over the Punisher. I am now changing my opinion on this right now, because the Punisher is just a better chaff clear than the M90A, and these damage numbers kind of prove it. It literally takes like one more extra shell. You get more ammo with the Punisher than you do the M90A. You're basically changing out 50% more damage for 50% less ammo. In my opinion, that's not a big enough give and take, in my opinion. Like a pro outweighing a con in that situation. It's not even balanced necessarily, but we'll go over that here in this video, and I'll also show you what it would be like if this gun did have AP3, and also look at the damage numbers of that, because again, it's not overpowered. You're going to see a lot of similar numbers that I'm going to show you with and without medium pen, except on few specific breakpoints that I do think would make this gun feel a whole lot better. And we're going to get straight into the numbers right now. So let's go over the Terminids real quick. So the Terminids, as you can see, not a lot changed. So let me kind of explain the numbers and break it down for you. Any yellow number means it's a buff. Any red number means it's a nerf. It takes more shots, okay? Spoiler alert, there will be no red numbers that we'll go over, right? Which is a good thing, but it's not enough of a buff. We'll go over that here. Also, whenever you see, for example, normal bile and alpha warrior main, it says 8 and it goes up to, and it goes down to 7, right? That's not necessarily shots, that is number of pellets, right? Because the buff that it got was this. It got a 5 damage increase on a servo damage per pellet, which adds up to around 55 damage or 55 durable damage if all pellets hit a target, right? So that's a 55 damage increase, right? So I think it's around like 200 now, like above 200, I think. It's like 210, 220 right now. So what does this mean for the shotgun, and how did it get buffed, right? So whenever it comes down to normal bio and alpha warrior mains, it goes down by 1 pellet. So you get a lot more forgiveness at 1 meter range, right? 1 meter to 25 meters. But is that really that big of a deal? Not really, right? Hive Guardian mains, it goes from 19 to 18, right? So you might say, well, hey, listen, like that's a decrease, but it's still 2 shots, right? If all the pellets hit and everything lines up, and if God touches your gameplay, for your RNG to be the best that it can be, it's still going to be 2 shots, regardless, before and after, right? Alpha Commander Heads. This is a big one for me personally, because I do believe this gun should be one-shotting Alpha Commander Heads, because that would be the most satisfying for this gun, in my opinion. It's 16 to 14. It still takes 2 shots to take down an Alpha Commander Head. When it comes down to normal charger butts, right? It goes from 44 to 37. That's still 4 shots. It has not changed 1 iota. Okay, so again, a lot of these damage numbers, like normal Stalker main, right? It'll still take 3 shots. Still, it will take 3 shots to bring down a Stalker to main. Predator Stalker, again, it is 2 shots. It is still 2 shots. Nothing has changed. All that it has done is made the shotgun like barely like more forgiving to use whenever it comes down to certain breakpoints. But that's basically all that it did, right? I wouldn't even look at the numbers from 50 to 100 meters, because the half choke is going to be like, the half choke is good, like probably past 25 meters, because it does have a half choke on the M90A. And to be perfectly honest with you, like that's pretty good if it's, past 25 meters and further out. But like anything past 50 meters, good luck. Like that is stretching the limits of the shotgun. I would just look from 1 to 25 meters whenever it comes down to shotgun. Even with the half choke, to be honest with you, because because shotguns are inherently going to be RNG to them. That's just the way that they are in real life and in video games. They're going to have RNG to them, right? So again, if you look at these damage numbers right here, it really didn't change much. It really did not change much at all. Let's look on the bot front. Maybe there's something on the bot front, guys, that changed. Let's see. Scout Strider Legs. It is still, it's now 3. So it's still 3 shots between 1 to 25 meters. By the way, good luck ever trying to hit a Scout Strider Leg at that close range, because the Scout Strider Legs are very skinny. So good luck on ever trying to land all 11 pellets at once, even at 1 to 25 meters. That's going to be kind of hard to do unless you're barrel stuffing it, right? Then cool, it'll still take off 2 shots, right? But otherwise, it's not going to land, right? Devastator Legs, 19 to 18, it'll still take 2 shots. Heavy Devastator Backpack, 25 to 24, it'll still take 2 shots, right? Jet Devastator Backpack, 11 to 10, it'll still take 1 shot, right? But this one is actually kind of good because it's 1 pellet less. So if you get that stray pellet, right, even at a half choke, sometimes it does happen. That means it's like that much less, or sorry, like that more forgiving to use the shotgun. But in my opinion, this is like 1 in a million missing, right? So like you will still get the 1 shot regardless for, like Jetpack Devastators. Berserker Chest, it still is 2 shots, regardless of whether or not you're 1 in 25, right? Again, where is the punchiness of the shotgun, right? That is the dev's own words, right? They wanted to make this gun more punchy. That's why they gave it the durable damage, right? Hulk vents, it's still going to take 3 shots. Still going to take 3 shots. So again, where is the punchiness of this gun? They specifically use that word, punchy. Where's the punchiness of this gun? There's no punchiness of this gun. They just made it like ever so slightly more forgiving at these ranges, and it doesn't really change much, right? Because at these ranges, like 1 to 25 meters, you're probably going to be hitting all your pellets anyways, to be perfectly honest with you, and it doesn't necessarily make the shots any less. It doesn't. You're still going to be using the same amount of shots for most of these situations, right? Now, let's look at, maybe there's something on the Illuminate front, right? I'm going to tell you guys right now, this surprised the hell out of me because I expected it to be some sort of big change, and there isn't. There is no change on the Illuminate front. It still takes, basically the same amount of damage no matter what, right? Flying Overseers, I was actually surprised that, like, now this thing is actually pretty good against Flying Overseers, right? But again, it's to, like, the backpack, and that's not including, like, the armor that they wear, right? The armor that they wear is still, like, I think Overseers are very, very tanky for what they are. As you can see, Overseer heads, they're medium pen, so you're not going to be able to headshot them. It's a crime that you can't be able to headshot Overseer heads with the shotgun. You can do it for elevated Overseer heads, but good luck ever trying to do that. Flying Overseers, they're so unbelievably hard to hit right now in Helldivers 2 because it's zip around a map way too much. So again, didn't really change too much. So my question to the audience is this, okay? Can you honestly say to me with a straight face, okay, to the people who say, oh, listen, like the M90A is perfect. You know, listen, like I got a buff, like who cares, right? What is the niche that this gun is supposed to fill? I can tell you what the niche is, what it is supposed to fill. I can tell you what it's supposed to fill, but does it actually fulfill that role, right? What is the Punisher's role? The Punisher's role is chaff. It is to do an offload of damage to chaff enemies, right? Because it holds 16 in the tube. That is the whole point of the gun, right? The new double barrel freedom or the double freedom, the new double barrel, right? What is its niche, right? Its niche is anti-tank. That's what it's really, really good at. It can take out charger butts in 2 volleys. It can take out tanks in 2 volleys. It can take out impalers in 2 volleys. It can take out these anti-tank options not only at up close but also far away because of the volley option to them. You're firing more pellets, you're doing more damage output, and that's what makes the gun feel great, is because it is an anti-tank primary. That's what makes it feel really, really good. Now, what does the M90A feel? It's effectively a crappier chaff clearer. The Punisher just does the M90A better, to be perfectly honest with you, because if you were using this gun for chaff, in my opinion, you were using it wrong. You should not have ever been using it for chaff. It was more or less for elite style enemies. And to be perfectly honest with you, if you look at the number of shots for the Punisher to take versus the M90A, there might be some occasions where the M90A takes maybe one more shot, for example, or sorry, one less shot. But I would rather just take the Punisher at that point, because it's not worth it to me to have the low magazine count, or sorry, the low tube count, and the low reserve count compared to the Punisher, right? So, like for example, Alpha Commander heads, it takes 2 shots, right, with the M90A. It takes 3 shots with the Punisher. It's 1 more round. Who cares, right? You're going to be doing enough stagger with the guns, or like with the Punisher anyways, that third shot is really not going to matter too much, okay? The M90A should be one-shotting Alpha Commander heads. So I kind of wanted to just run this through the calculator, okay? I just wanted to just run through the calculator. So what I did is that whenever I put these numbers in the calculator, I basically kept the same or like the buff for it, right? So like the base durable buff, I basically gave it to the gun, and I also gave it AP3. I wanted to see if this gun was going to be supposedly super overpowered, was going to put the Punisher out of business if it ever got AP3. Let's look at the data, okay? So these are the numbers that I put in the calculator, and these are the results. So if you notice, normal Bile and Alpha Warrior mains, it still takes 7 pellets. Still takes 7 pellets, right? The biggest buff that this gun gets is, again, to elite style enemies. So if you notice on Hive Guardian heads, because I would consider them kind of like stepping within the realm of elite style enemies, because they they're starting to get medium pen a little bit and stuff like that, right? It takes 10 pellets. It takes 10 pellets at 1 to 25 meters to one-shot them. That would feel fantastic for this gun, because that's what this gun struggles at, is Hive Guardians, is those kind of like entry-level type of like better than warriors, medium pen, or like medium armor bugs, it would do better against those enemies. Alpha Commander heads, it goes from 16 to 9. It would be a one-shot to Alpha Commander heads, right? At 25 meters, it would be 10. And at 50 meters, if you can even hit all your pellets, pie in the sky, if God touched your gameplay, you would hit all 11 pellets, right? It can one-shot at those ranges. But again, I wouldn't even look at the 50 meters because that's like pie in the sky. You might hit that every once in a while, like once in a blue moon. But again, like, it would make the gun feel a whole lot better, right? And here's the thing. Those are the only two really meaningful breakpoints. Of course, you got, like, the normal interrupter bow heads, right? So like, those bow spear heads are, like, medium pen. You can one-shot those as well. But if you look at normal charger butts, it's still 37. It's still 37 pellets as before, right? Which means it would take 4 shots. It would still take 4 shots. This would not be an anti-tank weapon. It would be an elite killing weapon. You got the Punisher that does chaff. You got the M90A that does elite killing, and you got the Double Barrel Freedom, which would be doing anti-tank. Right? Let's look on the bot front, for example. Okay. As you can see here, Scout Strider legs, it would still take 2 shots. Now, you would be able to one-shot Scout Striders in the waist, because again, like their waist is like a little bit weaker, right? So you would be able to actually one-shot them in the waist. But if you did want to shoot them in the leg for whatever reason, it would still take 2 shots, right? Devastator torso, it would take 2 shots. It wouldn't even be a 1-shot. It'd be a 2-shot, right? This is where the gun would feel its most punchy, is that if it got medium pen, right? And these aren't, and like, it's not even that big of a buff, to be perfectly honest with you. Even if it got medium pen, it would not be that big of a buff. Like, for example, look at this. For example, Hulk vents, right? It's still going to be a 3-shot again, because it's not an anti-tank weapon. It is a elite killer weapon. It's going to be going after Devastators. It's going to be going or like running through Alpha Commanders and Hive Guardians and Overseers. Let's look at the Illuminate, for example. The Illuminate here, right? Overseer heads. For whatever reason, Overseer heads are still medium pen, medium armor. That's really, really stupid. But now you can one-shot Overseer heads with 5 pellets. That's going to feel amazing on the Illuminate front. For Elevator Overseer heads, you're going to have a little bit, like, way more consistency now. It's going to go from 6 pellets down to 4 pellets now. That's going to feel good against Elevated Overseers. Flesh mobs, they're not really tanks, like what you would think of a tank to be a tank. They're basically a health tank, right? They're not like a roving tank or like a charger or anything like that. But nothing really changes on the flesh mobs. They're still the same for the most part. There's really not that big of a difference, right? I mean, like, you can shoot down like a Stingray if you really wanted to with this gun, but like, why would you? Like, Stingrays kind of get close to you at times, but 9 times out of 10, whenever you start shooting at them with the M90A, or if you could, like, it would still take like 4 shots, I believe, if I'm doing my math correctly. So like, it would still take 4 shots. That's still like that's terrible. Just use a medium pen, AR if you want to be a counter to Stingrays and stuff like that, right? So again, like, where's the overpoweredness of this, right? Where's the overpoweredness of this? It needs medium pen, right? And Arrowhead, if you're listening to me out there and stuff like that, okay? Don't be afraid to give this gun medium armor pen. Do not listen to the people who say, listen, this gun would be dumb, stupid, overpowered. I'm literally showing you the data right now where this gun would not be overpowered in the slightest. All it would do is that it would make it better against those elite style enemies, but it wouldn't necessarily be the best at chaff, because that's what the Punisher does, and it wouldn't be the best against anti-tank, because that's what the Double Freedom does. The M90A, on the other hand, would be the elite killer, which, by the way, that's how it worked in Halo. Funny enough, that's how it worked in Halo. What did you use the shotgun mostly against? Did you use it against grunts? No. Did you use it against jackals? No. Use it against brutes. Use it against elites. And it kind of touched a little bit on the anti-tank side with hunters, but that was like, like Halo 3, Halo 3 ODST, funny enough, was the only time where the shotgun was viable against hunters, right? In all the other games, you could one-shot hunters if you were very, like, were you close enough, or at least two-tap them, like in Halo 3 ODST. But again, you would have to go for the fleshy weak points, or you would just rattle off a shot. It would break off their back, which again, that's indicative of it breaking armor, shooting off armor, right? Again, indicative of it being medium pen weapon. And then it would expose the fleshy bits, and then you could just rattle off a shot, right? But again, it was really good at one thing in Halo. Good at killing elites, an elite style enemy, those type of enemies. The enemies that have pretty good amounts of health and shields, right? That's what it was made for, and that's what it was supposed to do. In this game, it just feels like a kind of like an okay version of chaff, and that's really it. Now, some people are going to say, well, it's really good on the Predator Stalker, okay? Listen, just because something is good at a faction within a faction does not necessarily make it a good weapon, okay? Hot take, but that does not make it a good weapon, okay? It makes it like a very, very niche, like a very niche weapon against a certain specific type of enemy. I would still not bring it whenever the explosive crossbow exists, whenever the eruptor exists. And by the way, even if they got medium armor pen, the M90A, it wouldn't even measure up to the level of effectiveness of the eruptor, of the explosive crossbow, of the cookout, for example. The the cookout would still be really good compared to the M90A. Like the M90A would just be like a nice like single target gun compared to the cookout, which would be more for crowd control, right? So again, whenever it comes down to this gun, and everyone's saying that it doesn't need medium pen, right? Devs, if you want Arrowhead, if with all that I have to say about this gun until the cows come home, okay? Because you recently changed it, right? I didn't really want to make another video on it, but at the same time, they made a change to it, so I kind of want to make a video on it and the changes to it, right? This does not make the gun feel punchy, okay? All this does is make the gun feel more forgiving, right? And even then, the forgiveness of this gun is not all that what it's cracked up to be, right? Give the gun medium armor pen. Give the gun its due diligence. Like give the gun what it needs, what is necessary. And what is necessary for this gun right now, baseline, how it should have been out of the box, is to make a medium pen. All buffs after that would be buffs. But I would see that the M90A getting medium pen would not be a buff. It would be a quality of life. Because that's how the gun should have been on release. If you're wanting to make it a punchy gun because it is an 8-gauge 3.75 Magnum quadruple-aught 8-gauge shotgun shell, well then you need to give it medium pen, right? Does it have to be this out-damage shotgun in the world, right? It just needs to be really good at killing elite-style enemies. So Hive Guardians, Alpha Commanders, stuff like that. This gun should be able to one-shot Alpha Commander heads. That's what the gun feels like it should do. And it's not doing that. And that's what kills the gun for a lot of players, right? So again, just listen to me. Do this. And I promise you, everyone, including the Glazers will complain, but the Glazers will literally have to eat crow whenever this gun feels so much better to use. Okay? So anyways, you guys let me know what you think down in the comment section below about what I showed off today. As always, like, share, subscribe. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.